Prosthetics and Orthotics Training College, in November 2012. And how it started was that the college started as a training department of the main orthopedic training center of Nsawam, Ghana, which started in 1961. The basis of this training college was that the founder of the orthopedic training center, known as Brother Tartisius de Ruyter, was from Netherlands, and he was a reverend brother of the SVD, that's the Divine Word Missionaries. And his basic work was that he was providing services to persons with disability. And then at that point in time, they had a lot of polio cases in Ghana. So he offered to provide the services, but he could not do it alone. So then he had an apprentice system that he used in training people on the job. So since 1961, he has been training people on the job. However, when we got to, I think, the 50th anniversary of the orthopedic training center, there was an event to celebrate the anniversary, and we had the director of human resources, known as Dr. Apiadentra, who visited the facility and proposed to the orthopedic training center that why can't they start a training program like this? Because at least the closest country that they take people to train is in Tanzania, and it's very, very expensive to take people to Tanzania to train. So therefore, the orthopedic training center took it upon themselves. Looking at the aging of Brother Tartisius, who was then around 87 years old, decided to come out with this formal training school, because then people were being trained on the job. But when the ministry started a policy where they only pay salary of health professionals who have certificates or diploma certificates before they can get government salary, then the idea to consolidate this training college came into being. So I would say that the school came into being because of, one, to continue on the legacy of Brother Tartisius in the field of Prosthetics and Orthotics in the country, and also to provide a training opportunity for Ghanaians who might have traveled to Tanzania to go for a training program like this, which was also very, very expensive. So therefore, these are the reasons why this school was started. And then, as I said, it was started on the 1st of November 2012, yeah. And then the first batch of students were admitted on the 3rd of August 2013. Which was started with only 11 male students, because you realize you had only male students because it is a male-dominated profession because of the heavy works and then also the engineering and other stuff that they are doing. However, we wanted to change the narrative. So therefore, the second batch of students who came in 2014, we had 8 females and then 12 males. And as I speak to you today, about 70% of our student population are all females and just 30% are males.
Okay, that's nice. The Brother Tartisius, was he a missionary? He was a missionary, right?
Yes.
Was he like a medical doctor, someone with this specialty?
Yes, he was not a medical doctor by profession, but he was a Prosthetics and Orthotics professional who was trained. He was trained in the Netherlands and also in Germany. So therefore, when he came to Ghana, he also came from a family of shoemakers. You know, then in Netherlands, they are very good in leather works and stuff. So he came from a family of shoemakers in Netherlands. So he combined all these professionals and professions together. And then he also had a lot of seminars. He also had some continuous professional development programs to attend to. So therefore, he was a professional on its own. And I think he can testify the number of cases that are being taken care of here at the Orthopedic Training Center. And trust me, OTC takes care of about 1,000 cases annually, which is about 500% of that of a patient who goes to the other facilities.
And is the facility, is it a private facility or is it government or like it's a partnership?
Okay, so the Brother Tartisius Prosthetics Training College is a Ministry of Health training institution. As you can see, we have the Health Training Institution Secretariat of the Ministry of Health, and then it's one of the health training schools. Just like you have Holy Family Nursing Training School at Ngokwo, which is a Catholic based, however, it's a Ministry of Health training institution. Just like the Kolego Nursing Training School, they are all Ministry of Health training colleges. However, because it was started by Catholic missionaries, there's something known as the Christian Health Association of Ghana, which is CHAC, and all mission started institutions and then health facilities are under that umbrella association known as the Christian Health Association of Ghana, which is CHAC, which is affiliated to the Ministry of Health. So therefore, I will not say we are a private institution, but we are also not a fully government institution. There is a partnership between the Ministry of Health and also the CHAC facilities.
Okay. So are you affiliated to any international body or anything?
Okay, so as the school started in 2012, we were informed, or we got the Ministry of Health facilitating an agreement between the college here and then the Kwame University of Science and Technology. I think you know that basically before you run any tertiary institution, you need a mentoring institution to be affiliated to. However, we were lucky not to just get an affiliation, but rather we got a collaboration, and we signed that collaboration. If you can see, in 2014, that was signed between the Catholic Bishop of Koforidua and then also the then Vice Chancellor of KNUST, Professor Ellis. So this is a collaborative agreement we signed with KNUST to run this diploma program in Prosthetics and Orthotics. And as such, because of that collaboration we had with KNUST, we ran only the 3-year program here. However, the students also write their terminal exams with KNUST, and when they pass successfully, they graduate at KNUST and they are awarded an academic diploma certificate from Kwame University of Science and Technology.
So the students, what is like after completion? What is their career path?
Their career path is basically in Prosthetics and Orthotics. Prosthetics and Orthotics is a profession on its own. It's an allied health profession. Just like we have physiotherapy, we have medical laboratory, they are all professions on their own. However, in this profession, you have ways that you can branch into. The first point of call is that because you are trained as Prosthetics and Orthotics professionals, you are supposed to practice as a Prosthetics and Orthotics profession, whereby you can work in any hospital that has a Prosthetics and Orthotics department. You can work in an orthopedic hospital where your services are needed. You can also work in a rehabilitation center, just like the W Training Center, just like Salvation Army rehabilitation centers. You can also go into non-government organizations where we have, like, let's say, a stand. We also have, let's say, Walkabout Foundation. These are all NGOs that provide services to persons with disability who need these Prosthetics and services. So therefore, you can branch into those things. Lastly, you can also go into academia. You can be a tutor. You can further your education to be into masters or into PhD, so that you can go into academia to be a professor or to do this. Or you can go into research and development, which is also very, very key with this profession, because our components that we use are supposed to be developed. They are science, they are biomedical, so they are technology. So they always come up with new ideas and new ways of doing them. So therefore, you can go into these things as a professional in doing that. Not basically that when you finish, you just have to go straight to the ministry for them to post you, but you can find yourself in all these things. You can even go into supplies of logistics of the raw material that we use in producing Prosthetics and Orthotics devices.
Are those materials available here? Or you have to import them?
Most of them are imported, but some of them are here. So therefore, we need people who are ready to go and import them and come and sell on the Ghanaian market. So therefore, that is what we are doing here.
Oh, okay. So you are located in Adoeji here. If someone is from maybe northern part of Ghana, they want to become a student, do you have branches there, or they have to travel down here?
No, basically it is a tertiary institution, so therefore we are located at one place, and then so therefore if somebody wants to undertake our program, he or she needs to come to Adoeji, our main campus. However, the Orthopedic Training Center has a new facility at Wale, and we're going to talk with the Orthopedic Training Center to see if we can also join them there. But there's not going to be a new campus or where people can go to school. But however, whatever our board of directors decide for us in the expansion of the college, we would implement it. But currently, our main campus is here at Adoeji.
Oh, okay. So we would like to go to the workshop to see what they have for us.
Yes, you can see, you can go around and investigate.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, from our previous class, we've gotten to know what amputation is. That is the surgical removal of parts or whole of a human body. So you can be amputated through a bone or through the joints. Are we okay? And then from there, we got to know some causes of amputation, like road traffic accidents, like peripheral vascular disease, like diabetes. Some people are also born without limbs. And then you can have infection that can lead to amputation as well. Now, when someone is being amputated, that's when we come in to help with the person. Are we okay? By making an artificial body part so that it replaces the one that has been lost. Are we okay? So we've spoken about the various types of prostheses that we have. Now, what I have with me here is a transfemoral prosthesis. Now, this will be given to someone who is a transfemoral amputee. And then we know that a transfemoral amputee is someone whose amputation was done through the femur bone. Are we okay? Yes. So when we pick the transfemoral prosthesis, it has parts. Now, the parts that I'm holding is called the socket. And then this is the part where the residual limb, which is the part that has, when we do the amputation, the part that is left, that is what we call the residual limb. So the residual limb will come and then it will fit here. Are you okay? Now the socket connects the whole individual to the prosthesis. Are you okay? Aside that, we have these belts here, which we call the silician belts. Now these belts help in suspension, so that when the person puts the residual limb in it and then buckles this around the waist, it will help secure the residual limb firmly inside this. Are you okay? Now we also have a prosthetic knee joint in here because the amputation was done above the knee. So it means the person's knee is not there. So we need an artificial knee to replace the one that has been cut. Are we okay? So we have a prosthetic knee in there. Then another component is called the pylon. Now the pylon also represents the tibia that has been cut off. We know the tibia bone in the lower limb, right? So the function of the pylon is it represents the tibia bone that has been cut off. And then as long as you don't have the anatomical foot, we would have to give you a prosthetic foot. So this is a prosthetic foot. So looking at the parts of a transfemoral prosthesis, we have the socket, we have suspensions, which there are a variety of them, but this particular one is a silician belt. We have the prosthetic knee joint, replacing the anatomical knee joint that has been cut off. We have the pylon, which is representing the tibia that has been cut off. Are you okay? And then the prosthetic foot. Are you okay?
Yeah, Richard. So you have already been amputated before you came to this school. Why did you choose this program?
Okay, so I got amputated. I was 2016, and since 2017, I got a chance to come here to get a prosthetic device, and I met the school principal and the one who is in charge of the prosthetic over here, and they had a talk with me to be the school patient model. So since that 2017, I've been a patient model for the school, and it came in mind that I should also learn something about it so that I can be able to assist people who goes into my condition. Because the device that I was wearing, which is the prosthetic leg, I noticed I was facing challenges in it. So I thought of it that if I'm able to learn it, I can also do it and be able to be a consultant to anybody who goes into that condition. And with me being a wearer, I'll be able to understand anybody who is also into that. And that's why I decided to come into the.
So with your prosthetic leg, do you sometimes experience this phantom limb pain, right?
Okay, so when I wear it, I don't feel it. But when it's off, like how I'm standing here right now, I can be feeling some itchy around my leg. Meanwhile, there's nothing there.
Okay.
So
at the end, that's why you feel the itchy.
No, I feel like my toe is itchy. Meanwhile, the toe is not there.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I've been feeling it, but it's something that it comes.
So you said you were amputated in 2016.
Yes.
You were not here by then. You were obviously in some school.
No, by then I completed SHS 2015.
Okay.
So I had an accident a year after I completed SHS.
Okay. But have you ever used your amputation as an excuse for anything?
No.
Be school, at home, maybe they say do something, then you can do it back. And use your leg for excuse.
Oh no. I always try to put myself in doing something, because I always say there's nobody who can be there for you all the time. If you put your burden on people, to get to a certain stage, they will be like they will even be running away from you. So even where I stay right now, I always want to fetch water to the bathroom myself. Even if people want to assist me, I tell them no, I want to do it. I don't want to be a dependent on people.
Okay.
That's why when I realized I can also attend this school, I decided to put myself in it. I don't like being dependent. So there is no way I've thought of, or because of my condition, let me just drag. No.
Do you participate in any activities like say sports, any activities?
Yes, I am in this football, amputee football.
Oh, okay, for the nation.
Yeah, I am in one of the club. It's called Amputee Football Club.
food what?
Amugisco.
Amugisco. Okay.
We have about 8 clubs in the
Mm.
regions.
So what do you intend to use this knowledge that you are about to acquire here? What do you intend to use that knowledge for?
Okay, so after completing, my whole idea is if I get posted in any of the prosthetic shops, I would like to be a role model for someone to also know that, oh, even if you are a person with a disability, you can also achieve something and also be able to impact people who are amputated, to be able to know that, oh, even with you losing your leg doesn't mean there's no hope. There is also a hope for you to get the prosthesis. It's just that you've lost your normal, which is the anatomical leg, but there is some that can be replaced for you to work.
Thank you for talking to us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So Grace, prosthetics and orthotics course is a male-dominated area. You are a lady. Why did you decide to join?
Okay, so I was curious to know more because I know it was a male-dominated course. And then when I came here, I saw that ladies can also do that. So that made me come here. Curiosity made me come to this school. And now I'm able to do what men can also do.
Oh, okay. So after school, what do you intend to do with the knowledge you acquire?
Okay, I'll help advocate the disability to be in a society where they were not being into. Yes. So I'll help them, I'll talk, work, help them have what they need to have here so that it can be part of a society that they weren't able to be in. Yes.
Okay. So you want to help them to also be included in
Yes.
decision making and all of
Of course.
okay, nation building.
Yes.
Because they are also important.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, so Gloria, with the aid of the orthosis, how do you cope with life?
Okay, with the aid of the orthosis, it makes movement freely for me, and it also don't resist places that I'm supposed to be. But without the orthosis, to maybe if I'm to go to somewhere, because I'm not with my orthosis, I won't feel like going there. But with my orthosis, even if it will take a longer time for me to get there, I will go.
You go there. So without the orthosis, do you use like an aid crutches or something?
No, I don't really use any assistive device, but because I'm used to the orthosis, I mostly do all my things with the orthosis.
Okay.
Maybe it's when I'm going to take my bath, or maybe I'm in the kitchen, then I'll take it off. But basically, I do everything with my orthosis.
You don't sleep with it?
No, I don't sleep with
Uh-huh. So the knowledge that you have acquired, you are a final year student.
it. Yes.
What do you intend to use that knowledge for?
Okay, the knowledge I've really acquired on being an orthotic and prosthetic student is, at first, being disabled, it's out of understanding, you know, it's spiritual and stuff, but it's something that happens medically. So with the knowledge I've acquired, I choose to join the rehabilitation team to also advocate for people who needs this orthotic and prosthetic needs.
Okay. So now you can even create some of them for the people, that the
Yes,
devices
I
for
can.
others.
Yes,
Okay, that's nice. Thank you for talking to us.
thank you.
Thank you.
Facial body parts. So usually when someone is amputated as a result of accidents, as a result of conditions like diabetes and other things, tumors and other things, the patient or the person needs to go back to his daily activities. Therefore, a prosthesis is fabricated to replace the missing parts. And then we have the orthotics. You see, sometimes when people are born, they have congenital problems, deformities. They walk with their knees hitting against each other. They have spinal problems. They have problems of their lower leg, upper arms. then we can provide the orthotics. So the orthotics is actually an external mechanical device that is used to correct a problem, relieve pain. Sometimes if the problem cannot be corrected, we accommodate it to prevent it from aggravating. When there is pain, for example, if a patient has a fracture from accident, you can use an orthotic device to hold it in place and all that. So that is the basic difference between orthotics and prosthetics. So prosthetics is used to replace a missing body part. For orthotics, the body part is there, but it's not functioning properly. So the orthotics is used to support and correct and make sure that the body part is functioning properly.
Okay. So what is the basic requirement for someone to become a student of this course?
Okay, so we have two programs that we run. We run the diploma in prosthetics and orthotics technology, and then we have certificates in lower limb prosthetics, usually lower limb prosthetics. And we also have one that is certificate in lower limb orthotics. Usually, when you are coming from SHS directly, the requirements should be from A1 to C6. So your three best subjects in the core, and then your three best in your electives. You put them together, and then if you have good grades, then you can be admitted into the program. And then you also go through an interview system, where you ask few questions about what you did in your SHS, and then you also be asked few questions about what you think the program is about. So that will give them the idea about if you are really fit into, if you are really good to be fitted into the system, or if something else needs to be done.
Okay. So please take us through the process of getting someone a prosthetic.
Okay. So usually when a patient comes to you for the first time, it's in two folds. Either the patient comes by him or herself, or comes by means of referral. So it could be a self-referral or referral from the hospital. So say after amputation, the patient comes to your facility. The first thing that you go through is assessment. You have to assess and find out what is wrong with the patient specifically. Because sometimes visually we might see some things on the patient, but then when you really ask the patient or you do some particular test, you realize that it is not really as you see it, but then it has more to it than what the eye see. So sometimes we go through subjective assessments by asking the patient's name, asking the patient what happened, asking about the medical history and all that. And then there is another part that goes with the physical assessment, where we do special tests, where we do range of motion and manual muscle tests to find out how strong the patient's muscle are, the range at which the remaining joints can move, and all that. So together we put all these together, and we are able to come up with a prescription. So a prosthesis usually has various parts, and depending on the type of amputation you have, you are required to have a specific type of prosthesis. So a patient who is having a transtibial amputation will have a transtibial prosthesis. A patient who is having a transfemoral amputation, through the thigh, will have a prosthesis that covers the thigh, the knee, the foot section, and all that. If you have an amputation of the upper extremities too, you have a prosthesis that fits that place. So when it's, let's take one particular type of prosthesis, for example, a transtibial prosthesis, that is a prosthesis for below the knee. Usually it has a socket, which is one part where the remaining part of the residual limb or remaining part of the limb fits in. It has a pylon that serves as the bone, and it has an artificial foot section. So we put all these three together, and depending on your activity level or what work you were doing before, how active you are, your age, whether you're pediatric, whether you're geriatric, we know the type of components to prescribe for you. So looking at all that, we come up with the best prescription for the patient. So after that, the patient goes through what we call a casting process. So in the casting process, we use a bandage, or we wrap a bandage around the remaining limb of the patient, and then we get what we call a negative cast. So the negative cast have the shape of the actual patient, or the remaining limb of the patient. That is filled with POP powder, and then what we call rectification, or we clean the positive model, and then we do some few touches to it. And then you have two different processes that we go through. So one process is called thermoforming. The other process is called lamination. So the thermoforming gives us something like this.
Okay.
So these are thermoforms made out of plastics.
Okay.
So the thermoforming gives us a plastic shell like this,
Okay.
and then the thermosetting gives us something which is harder than this. So the plastic one usually we use for the test fitting. Test fitting in the sense that sometimes, because this is more of an act, there could be a little discrepancy in terms of the measurements.
Okay.
So with this, it is easy for you to make little changes to it by
Some
hitting.
adjustments. Okay.
Exactly. By hitting some parts of the socket. This is known as the socket,
Socket.
where the remaining residual limb goes
Okay,
into
okay,
this,
okay. Yeah,
or
yeah,
remaining
yeah.
part of the limb goes into this, and then the other part supports the socket to make a full prosthesis.
Okay, okay.
So the other parts, it's not so easy for you to make changes to it. So if you're able to make this, and you make all the changes and everything is okay, then you make the final one. That is a definite prosthesis. With that, you just make few changes to it in terms of alignment, and then you are good to go. So that is how.
I've also observed that there are some amputees who, despite the fact that they have a prosthetic, they still need like crutches to walk. Others who don't need.
Crutches at all.
What is the
So
difference?
there are a lot of things that comes to play with regards to that. You can have someone who is an old wearer, an old patient.
Okay.
An old patient means that that person has used a prosthesis before. So if you've used a prosthesis before, then probably you are very good at using a prosthesis.
Oh, okay.
For example, you have two people, one who is an experienced driver and one who is now learning how to drive. Both of them wouldn't go at the same pace in terms of speed. Someone will move faster than the other.
Yeah.
Preferably the one who is a skilled driver will move faster than the other. So usually in terms of mobility, in terms of prosthetic users, those who are old users are able to move at a faster pace as compared to new users.
Okay.
Other ones too has got to do with the energy expenditure of that person. We have people that are really heavy. We have people that are not so heavy. Comparing these two people, possibly the one who is not so heavy might be able to move the residual limb faster as compared to that who is heavy.
Okay.
Another thing could also be from their age difference.
Okay.
Someone who is a geriatric is someone who is old, and a pediatric is someone who is younger. A geriatric, because most geriatrics are frail, they are very weak. They will not be able to move as fast, even if they are not amputated.
Yeah.
Movement will not be as fast as an adolescent or a young person. So that is what sometimes brings the discrepancy in someone being able to walk faster as compared to other. And sometimes too, it has got to do with the site that has been amputated.
Okay.
Usually, if someone is amputated below the knee, their energy expenditure is not as high as someone who is amputated above. When amputation goes up, our center of mass moves upwards and closer to the side that has been amputated.
Okay.
And as it goes upwards, the distance between that part and the ground increases and makes the person unstable.
Okay.
So that also brings about the disparities or the differences in someone being able to walk faster and another person not being able to walk faster.
So it means that then it will mean that if someone should get a prosthetic leg or a limb, the person will have to go through some therapy.
Exactly.
Sort of like a learning curve, be able to use it.
Exactly.
Wow.
So usually after the patient goes through the first fitting, which we call initial fitting, and then the patient is able to first sit properly, secondly stand on his or her two feet. The patient goes to another process that is called gait analysis. So you check the patient's gait, check the problems that are associated with the gait, and then see how best to correct those problems.
Okay.
So during all those times, you are checking how the patient is walking, and the patient is also getting used to the procedures with time.
Okay.
So sometimes, if a patient is really skilled, maybe because the patient has used one before, maybe because the patient is not as heavy, maybe because the patient is an adolescent, maybe because the patient is very active, such patient might be able to train himself or herself faster as compared to the other parts of such a patient. So that is.
The materials you use here, they look imported, like they're imported materials. They're not They are foreign materials.
Yes, they are foreign materials. Most
That
of
makes
them
them expensive.
very expensive.
So does that translate into the cost of
Yes, it does.
getting a limb?
It does. It does. So that is why we have a lot of people that don't really patronize prosthetics in this sense, because it is really expensive. So if you don't have someone who is sponsoring and you are not well-to-do, then it becomes a problem, a challenge. So most people prefer to use the crutches and be walking around than to come for an artificial leg, which is extremely expensive. Not extremely, but
Yeah, I mean it's expensive for
expensive.
a regular person.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
yeah.
it's expensive. So it's because of the material that I use.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes also depends on, yes, the components that are also used, because the components too are relatively expensive. Like the prosthetic knee joint is expensive, the prosthetic hip joint is expensive, and all of you. So those things coming together makes the whole prestigious.
Does the national health cover this?
No.
Some of these things?
National Health
Doesn't
does not cover. There's no subsidy for prosthetics and orthotics in Ghana. So they pay outright. Nothing covers anything. They pay straight from their pockets.
Okay.
It makes it expensive.
All right, let's go back to the students and
Okay.
let's see what they are also doing. So I realize that they are taking measurements. All of them are taking measurements.
Yeah.
Is it for what? For precision or
Yes, yes. So because the program is apt, it's more medical engineering and all that put together. So students need to be really accurate in their measurements. Very important, because how would you provide something to replace something which is missing and it is not of the measurement that you need to replace it with?
Okay.
Then that means it wouldn't fit. So measurements is really important. So in here we have the first year. So when you come to first year, what we do is we make sure that you go through the basic mechanical operations, which is cutting, which is measuring, which is drilling, filing, and all that, so that you be precise in terms of measurement. So if you look at this gentleman, he's filing, and then we've asked him, or we've tasked him to make sure that the surface that he's filing is really straight and flat. So at the end, he's going to check with a tri-square and then make sure that that surface that he is filing is straight and flat. This helps in terms of orthotics and prosthetics. So in cases where you have to fabricate something that is more precise in measurements, for example, the sockets or that you see need to be precise in measurements. Otherwise, it's going to become too big or too small. If it is too small, it becomes uncomfortable for patients to know. If it is too big, it might even come off. So this gives them the chance to be precise in terms of measurement, in terms of straightness, in terms of accuracy, so that when they come out, when they move further in the education, they're able to provide something which is, in terms of precision and in terms of accuracy, on point. That is why they are doing all this mechanical operations.
And I realized that it seems like all of them also have toolboxes, new toolboxes.
Yes.
Students.
They are individual students that need to come with.
And they bring them.
Yes. So everyone is having his or her toolbox with all the required tools that they need to practice.
Wow. Can we open one of them?
Yes, we can. So we have a lot of tools here. These are set of files.
I like this one.
It's huge. So these are set of files.
Okay,
these are gloves, yes, for safety purposes.
Okay. I see. I understand the process.
This is a hand vise. These are sets of screwdrivers with Phillips and standard heads. Goggles to protect the eye when they're using the machine. This is called a goniometer. Goniometer. Yes.
Not gono.
Goniometer. So the word meter tells you that we are talking about measurements. So this is used to measure angles. So you can see there's a protractor.
Yes.
So the protractor tells us the angle at whatever joints that you're measuring. So this tells you the angle that is possible at each joint of the body. So we use this. And then when you want to take measurements on patients in terms of breadth or in terms of circumference, we use the Taylor's tape measure. And then we have the hammer, and few other tools.
Okay.
Style known as the quadrilateral socket design. So for that they will do something called, this is negative cast. So any modification you do on this is a negative cast modification. So currently we are doing a negative cast modification like this.
If you say ancient, is it Greek or Roman?
Not in that sense, but I mean an old type.
An old type,
Yes. So this is a modification that they do so that this and this will hold something called ischial tuberosity on this particular seat, and other biomechanical principle that goes on.
Okay.
So that is how this is done. So this is just like this, but for this we've added POP cement to the negative cast without taking the negative off.
Okay.
But for these guys, the second years, they are going to make the modification on the positive model and not the negative model.
Okay.
So they will take the negative model out like this,
okay.
and they work on the positive model.
Okay.
But for these guys, it's a different design. So they do this on this. When they are done, they'll fill this again. So first, you have to fix this on the patient. Make sure that this fits properly. There are no problems, there are no challenges. Then they'll have to cut this, put a little bit of a separator in there, and then they fill it again with a positive model.
Okay.
They clean it, and then they go through the lamination and then the draping process as we talked about.
This is quite intriguing.
Yeah, so basically, that is what we do here. This is a modification room where
What modification room?
is. So modification for either a negative cast or a positive cast is done up here.